Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Voices of British Orthodoxy. I am, of course, Rita Lazar. Today is the 1st of June, as according to the old calendar. We have 3 entries for today. Our first entry is Saint Ronan. Date is unknown. Well, according to the book, anyway. The life of Saint Ronan is inextricably linked to that of Saint Rumon, 30th of August, and another Saint Ronan of Lochron, also June the 1st, who was an Irish missionary in Brittany. This Saint Ronan seems to have been an early bishop of an unknown see, who preached in Cornwall, is venerated in Tavistock in Devonshire and elsewhere in England. His entry in the group chat is died 6th century, ordained by St. Patrick. St. Ruadan was patron of the Abbey of Tavistock in Devonshire, as well as of several places in Cornwall and Abbey. He is important in the traditions of Brittany, where he died, and the region of Larne. Ruadan is buried at Lochronan. Every 6 years, the faithful make a processional pilgrimage along the traditional 10-mile route followed by St. Ruadan during his mission. Our next is St. Wistan, also known as Winston, and he is from the 9th century. The entry in the book goes as follows. St. Winston was a Mercian prince who was martyred AD 850 for zealously upholding church discipline at a location now known as Winstonstow in Shropshire. He was buried at Repton Abbey. His relics were later translated to Evesham Abbey. And the entry in the group chat is as follows. Saint Wistan, King of England, martyred at Evesham, also known as Winston or Wyston. Died June the 1st, 849. Winston, Prince of Mercia, and grandson of King Wiglaf of Mercia, who ruled between 827 to 840, is said to have been put to death by King Bertulf, also known as put to death by King Bertulf, which is also known as Bertric or Brifardus of Mercia, when he was regent of the kingdom during Wiston's youth. Bertulf was his great-uncle, brother to Wiglaf. The murder may have been because Wiston opposed the marriage of his mother Enfleda, daughter of Celwulf, to Bertulf, or simply because Wiston would eventually come of age and reclaim power. Bertulf's son Berthert, or Brithart, who would be heir, invited Winston to meet him at what is now Winstanstow. As the saint saluted his cousin with a kiss of peace, Berthart cut off the upper part of his head with his sword. Then an attendant stabbed him and 3 of his companions before the end of the year. Bertulf was deposed by King Ethelwulf. Wiston was buried by his mother in Repton Abbey in Derbyshire, near his father Wigmund and grandfather, the site of a particularly extravagant legend. According to Thomas of Marleberg, writing in the 12th century, annually hair grew from the ground at Winstanstow, where the martyr fell. The phenomenon was was verified by a commission sent by Archbishop Baldwin of Canterbury. In 1019, his relics were translated to the site of his shrine at Evesham Abbey, at the request of Abbot Alfwad, who later became Bishop of London. And our final entry for today is Saint White. She has a couple of names. Oh wait, it's Wita, forgive me. Also called Gwen, and according to the book whose entry we will enter first, Saint Wita, date unknown. Saint Wita, also called Saint Candida, in an attempt to Latinize her name, was an anchoress who was martyred by the Danes in Dorset in England. Her relics were enshrined at Whitchurch Canonicorum and remain there to this day. The only relics to survive in the parish in England, her holy well is at a village is at the nearby village of Macomber Lake. Remember, a lot of saints, perhaps including your local one, if you are a Brit listening to this, potentially have wells, and you should go out of your way to visit them. Anyway, here is the entry in the group chat. Saint Wita, pronounced Wita, also called Gwen, so she has two names. Saint Gwen, she has two extra names, which is Gwen and Candida. Was a 9th century Saxon holy woman from Dorset who was murdered by marauding Danes. She is venerated in the Orthodox Church, is the patron saint of Dorset, and her feast day is on the 1st of June, also celebrated as Dorset Day. Local oral tradition recounts that Saint Wita lived as a hermit on secluded cliffs in prayer and solitude. She remained as beacons to guide sailors. She was killed by Danish Vikings during a 9th century raid on Charmouth, which corroborates with a landing at Charmouth of around 15,000 Vikings and the Battle of Chardown Hill in 831 AD. And may those saints intercede for us before the righteous judge. Saint Wita's icon is here. May those saints intercede for us before the righteous judge. I hope you all have a wonderful liturgy tomorrow, if I remember correctly, as it's the first Sunday after Pentecost. It's dedicated to All Saints. So, yeah, speaking of which, may all these saints, as well as all of the saints of Great Britain and Ireland, and of all saints and angels and heavenly powers, intercede for us before the righteous judge. God bless you all, and I will see you. Also, don't forget, in 3 weeks, so 3 weeks today, or this morning, we are hosting our day of dedication, celebration of the saints of Britain and Ireland at St. Lazar's. And the intention is for this to become a yearly thing, so do try and come. This year's day is the first week, Saturday of July. Next year, it's probably going to be towards the end. Anyway, I will love you and leave you. God bless you all, and amen.